Hey there, Dave here along with Chris and Jordan. This is the Dumb Money Live pre-show. Thank you all for joining us early this morning. A lot going on. We're going to be talking all about, I don't even remember what we're talking about today. We're talking about Peloton and the big recall. But we were talking about other stuff before we went on because there's the market, it's another down day. We're watching our portfolios be slightly affected by such things. Jordan, you're down.
I went back to even. I don't know why, because Rocket's down, Peloton. Well, Peloton's kind of flat today, but.
I was just looking. I'm down in Roku. Roku's down pretty big today.
You're still in. You're still in. What is it? Twilio, and that's down like 9%.
Oh, ouch!
Are those earnings? I'm not even paying attention to some of these earnings. There's so many earnings right now.
Yeah,
like,
we're deep in earnings season, and
dude, I was
Roku's
up last
down, Twilio's
night.
down, Square is down, Carnival is down.
I was so focused on Funko last night. I texted you, David, like, I don't know, midnight or something. I don't know when I texted you.
I was asleep.
When do you go to bed at midnight? When did that start happening?
I turned, my phone is set to just go to silent mode at like 10 p.m. because I don't need the distraction. It's time to unwind. Yeah. It's time to have screen time take over and just, otherwise I won't be able to.
You turn off screen time?
I have my phone set to go in silent. Time. Yeah. Oh. Well, I mean, I might still be on my phone, but I have it turns to that mode where it's like a warmer color, and then it stops beeping at me.
No, I mean, I start doing deep research late night, man.
Did I forget to say that we're waiting for us to get to 200 likes for the YouTube algorithm? I don't know what's wrong with me today, but we need to get to 200 likes for the YouTube algorithm, or else we can't go on. We're only at 123. If you want to know if this is a day to buy, sell, or hedge, I don't know what Chris is doing with his multi-million-dollar position in Peloton. But
I'm not telling anybody what to do with their deal.
We're not going to find out until we get up to 200. No, I want to know what you're doing. We're not telling anyone what to do.
Okay, so I've been listening into the Playa conference call, man, the earnings call. That's what I've been doing all morning, and I had to cut it short for this episode. What were we thinking? Scheduling an episode in the middle of Playa's earnings call. The earnings call was great, man. The Playa was down 6 or 7% this morning. I read the report. I start looking at earnings. I start listening to the call. And I'm like, these people are nuts, man. I'm going in deeper. I just bought myself a whole ton of Playa just now. At the day lows. At the lows, man. I bought myself a ton more Playa. So, yeah, I mean, you're not scaring me out of Playa. Dude, the people were selling it off because they had, a little bit of a rough quarter. Well, I wonder why, dude. We had a huge global travel lockdown in the middle of the quarter. Obviously, yeah, Jamaica's shut down, dude. Like, obviously they're gonna have a little bit of a rough quarter. They come out and they're like, yeah, our Q3 bookings are above 2019 and our Q4 bookings are way above 2019 levels. I'm like, dude, this is my thesis playing out perfectly, and the people sold off the stock. Imbeciles, dude. All right, whatever. I bought more. Thank you. I've really been wanting to get more Playa in the 6s. And I had an opportunity to get it in the right in the middle of the 6s, dude. That was awesome.
That's great.
So I got more Playa. I'm happy.
I forgot to buy my Playa the other day. We keep talking about it, but it's like one of those medium conviction trades to me.
There's nothing. That Playa is like, for me, yeah. I mean, it's kind of high conviction, quite honestly. At this point, it's not. I don't know if it's a stock that's going to triple or anything, but like, I don't see the downside unless we get another pandemic outbreak. Like, I don't see it, dude. Love Playa.
Right.
I love
I'm gonna buy some shares.
But I have a whole nother thing I want to talk about later in this episode. 'Cause Dave, I know you're like skipping town. So, like, I got to get everything out today.
I'm skipping town.
Are you coming back next week? Are you coming back next week?
No, this is just a weekend. This is just a weekend getaway, and we're over 200 now. My little counter doesn't update itself anymore. I have to turn it off and back on. So we can start as soon as my trade goes through. It's never gonna go through. It's up a penny above my.
Yeah, because I'm talking
now.
about it. Now people are buying it for some reason. I wonder why they would buy it.
Well, I'm not paying more than it was trading before you started talking about it. There's no way. I'm not. I have very little conviction in this. But look at that. It's up 5. The ask is up 6 cents from where it was. You people, stop buying the stocks before me.
What do you mean, you people?
Stop buying the stocks, you people. Okay.
Man, let's. Can we start?
Are you ready to do a
I have
show?
So much to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah, dude.
Let's push the buttons. Peloton has recalled all of their treadmills, more than 125,000 Tread and Tread Plus models, in an abrupt reversal of their earlier position. This coming weeks after the Federal Consumer Protection Safety Commission released an urgent warning about Peloton treadmills. The product is linked to more than 70 injuries, 30 of those to children, and even the death of a child. When the federal agency issued that warning, Peloton said that that was inaccurate and misleading and that there is no reason to stop using the machine. Well, yesterday they did a 180. The CEO apologized for that decision to push back about the recall, saying they, quote, they made a mistake. If you're an OG viewer of Dumb Money, you know that I am not the biggest fan of the company's management team. I see this as the latest in a continuing pattern of missteps. Who remembers their fuzzy financial data or how they forgot to license the music that they were using in their workouts? Chris loves this company. He sees Peloton as the future of workouts. He says they're an aspirational brand that will come back and then they will be on top, even once the gyms are all back open at full capacity. And in the past, he has said that you can't even expect a management team to be perfect in a company that is growing as fast as Peloton. Peloton stock, one of his biggest investments. But what is this recall going to do to his major stock position? The price now down 50% from where it was in January. Yesterday, he would have lost more than $250,000 in a day if he had not hedged his stock with some put options. So what now? Today on Dumb Money, is it time to sell and cash in his profits, or is the recall just another bump in the road and an opportunity to double down at a lower price? We are Dumb Money.
3 friends who turned $30,000 into $30 million using nothing more than Twitter and a zero commission trading account.
The suits that work on Wall Street, they call those people the smart money. That's not us.
Our goal is to help level the playing field for everyday investors.
We are Dumb Money.
Hey there, Dave here along with Chris and Jordan. We are Dumb Money. Welcome to Dumb Money Live. Before we hear what Chris is doing with his Peloton stock, I must do my job as a YouTuber and mind you to take 1 second and smash the like button. Unlike Peloton and their treadmills, the like button has not been linked to any injuries. It is 100% safe to click, and unlike Peloton equipment, the price is right. It is free to click. So, Chris, Jordan,
You're such a...
This could be a heated debate, one of my favorite kinds of live streams.
Not only are we losing money, but now Dave is giving us a hard time.
He's been waiting for Peloton to screw up. Just waiting for this moment.
No, I don't. I hate
year.
this. I wasn't in a short position with them. I want them to do well for you. They're just not the right stock for me, and that's okay. But today we're going to talk about what they're doing with this recall. We're going to talk about their unusual step of refusing for nearly 3 weeks to recall the product, even though the Federal Trade Commission thinks it's a good idea to do that because this thing is killing a person. What does this do to their beloved brand? What does it do? Is there any long-term impact? I can't wait to hear what Chris has to say about this.
Oh, I have so much to say. I want to say something before I say anything about Peloton. There's just so much happening today. Stick around for the end of today's episode because I want to talk about Playa Resorts. They had earnings. I want to talk a little bit about Charles and Colvard. They have earnings tonight. I also really want to talk about Funko. They have earnings tonight, okay? I also want to give us a little bit of credit right now. A little bit of credit. Can we have a little credit for, what's it? I'm not going to forget the name of the company. Hayward Pools. I mean, dude, Jordan, you got in on that yesterday, right? 2 days ago for earnings?
No.
On our last episode?
No.
You got in,
Of course
right?
I did. I don't buy anything that goes up, Chris. You know that.
You didn't get in it? Oh, man. Jordan, Dave, you got in it, right?
Yeah, I'm in, but I didn't get it. Obviously, hindsight 2020, I didn't get nearly as much as I should have.
Oh my gosh. So for those of you that weren't watching, our last episode was the pool episode a couple days ago. And we just talked about why we loved Hayward so much. And why do we love it so much? There's so many reasons, but I just think people don't even really look at that company. It's a newly IPO'd company, so under the radar. Dude, that was a hell of a trade. I am sold almost all my Hayward, guys. I'm sold almost all. By the way, Leslie's pot is down today on earnings, but I sold most of it before it came down. I just sold another batch. I have a small amount of Leslie's right now. I'll probably sell it. I'm probably out of the pool trade for now, guys. Why? Not because I don't like the pool trade. Opportunity cost. There's too many other good things going this summer. By the way, we're not financial advisors. We don't know your financial risk. This is not about us telling you what to do. Do not do anything that we do on this show. Just do your own research. This is what we're doing, okay? These are our trades. This is our community's research. This is just us talking about thesis, poking holes in it. You poke holes in it, do your own research. Talk to a financial advisor if that's what you do, but do not just take this as financial advice. That's not what this is.
Okay,
guys,
we
Peloton,
have a lot to
man.
talk about
Dave,
coming up. A lot of other companies, but
Yes.
we have to talk about Peloton.
Peloton, fine. But you
So
are
what do you have
all
to
right,
say
I
for
know
yourself?
You are a little happy though, Dave. You are.
I'm not
you're
happy.
telling
You've
me
lost
how-
50% of your investment since January.
No, I
It is
haven't.
May.
No, I haven't lost 50% of my
Well, you
investment.
would have if you weren't
haven't.
hedging yourself, because their stock price is down 50%.
Yeah, no, I've lost, I'm down 37% off the highs before I hedged. But I want to give a little bit of credit here to one of our community members, Bill Peloton Gaines. Even though he chose to stay in his Peloton position, it was his research. It was his channel checks. And I don't want to talk specifically about what the channel check was, other than he's been, doing some pretty good channel checks with delivery drivers and noticed that third-party delivery drivers, not Peloton, third-party delivery drivers, and noticed that there was a drop in bike deliveries, at least in one big market. And that was kind of all I needed to see, because, guys, you know what I've been talking about with Peloton, Dave, Jordan, for the last year. I said this was the moment of anxiety, right? We knew it was coming. I knew it was probably going to drop. I didn't know how much it was going to drop. I was constantly making a decision. Should I hedge at a really steep price, because it's really expensive to hedge? Should I sell my Peloton, which would mean taking a massive tax hit, or just hold on? Because the one thing that I knew was that I wanted to hold Peloton long term. So if I sold it, I'd have to pay a ton of taxes to then basically buy it back less, maybe not less. Would it really be worth it? Or I can hedge my position with puts, but puts are so expensive to hedge with unless you're hedging over a very short, tiny period of time. So my whole thought was, I was always kind of planning to potentially hedge this quarter earnings, okay? But I didn't want to do it until the very end. Why? I'm cheap, and I didn't want to spend all that money on premiums. And then when Peloton Gaines, did those channel checks, like, that was it for me. That was like, okay, I'm ready to do it right now. I've been planning this hedge for a while. I think there's more questions than answers when it comes to this quarter. Let's be very clear, guys. There's two things going on with Peloton. There's the immediate now, and then there's the future, okay? I am in Peloton for the future. The immediate now, there's a lot of questions. And I think Peloton investors have proven to us one thing. They will overreact to this stock and overreact to information like 10x. They will overreact on the upside. They overreact on the downside. And that's what made me so nervous, right? And so I knew that with a possibility that we were going to see maybe, let's just call it, a bit more of a steep drop in bike deliveries than maybe the market was anticipating, that could be a cause for a major panic in Peloton. Now, I didn't realize they were going to do this recall. This is just, I don't know, timing luck on my part. But that's not why I hedged the position, right, guys?
Well, you had
hedge.
earnings coming out, and you knew that there could be some material information in that earnings that you weren't thinking that they were going to have the best news. in their
I
earnings,
already
right?
had
And so you were
data,
kind of
and let's be honest, I think most of Wall Street has the same data that I had, that Peloton Games has, because anybody can do channel checks. So I don't think it's like this huge secret that Peloton bike sales, bike deliveries are potentially coming down. We're not the only ones doing these channel checks, but the market overreacts to Peloton. So if this earnings report was a little worse, a little bit of a negative call, man, I mean, I could see Peloton getting crushed on that. Now it already got crushed. So what do we do now?
it's been in a downhill spiral since January.
Guys, can I just talk about the actual hedge I put on? Because I think this is a topic that we constantly get asked about. How do you do this? How do you hedge? It's not that hard. What you have to do to hedge a position with options, this is what I do, okay? I basically just do a bunch of cocktail napkin math, and I say, I don't know, maybe the stock goes down 10 or 20%. And if that happens, how much money am I going to lose? Well, if I buy these put options, what will these put options be worth if the stock goes down 10%, 15%, 20%, 25%, right? And I just run the math, and I figure out which strike price options I think are the best for me based on what I think is going to happen. And, I'm not a guy that looks at price that much, right? But I did kind of feel that we could have a pretty steep drop in Peloton. So I looked at options that were highly liquid, because I wanted to buy options that were liquid, that had a really tight spread, so that I wasn't paying like a big difference between the bid and the ask. If I need to get out of the options, I had a pretty good chance of getting out of the options without getting murdered by the market makers. And the options I settled on were the 100 puts, the 100 strike price puts that expire this Friday, right after earnings, okay? I bought those when the stock was at like 106 or something like that. They cost me, I think, $4 or $5 an option, something like that. And I bought 400 of them, even though my Peloton position was down to 30,000 shares. So 400 contracts is the equivalent of shorting 40,000 shares at $100 a share. Meaning I have the right to sell someone 40,000 shares of Peloton at $100 a share, even if it drops to $10 a share. I can still sell it to them at $100 a share. So I was hedging not just my entire position, but a little bit extra. Why did I do a little bit of extra? I did a little bit of extra because when you buy these options, you have to pay a premium. So the first $5 or $10 that the stock drops, you're not making $5 or $10 a share on the downside. You're only making about half that. So to kind of make up for that, I just bought more options than I had in stock. So I had 30,000 shares of stock, but I bought 40,000, the equivalent of $40,000 of put option, 40,000 shares worth of put options via 400 put contracts. Now, what happened? You saw the thumbnail, right, to this episode. Peloton got crushed. My options actually, it got crushed so hard, it got to the point where all the premium was basically sucked out, and then the options started moving in alignment with the stock. So basically, if the stock went, for every $1 the stock dropped down, my options went up $1. So I would lose $1 in stock, but I would make $1 per option contract, right? So I was making more as the stock went down than I was losing, because I had more options than I did stock on the long side. So I actually came out ahead. But here's what you don't know, and I didn't tell you guys this yet. Yesterday, I did something that we do quite often when our options get way what's called in the money. Okay, in the money means that your options are now inherently valuable, right? Because there's real money in the options, meaning I can sell the stock for 100 and the stock's trading at 81, right? So there's $19 of real value in those options. I sold all those options, okay? I sold all of them this morning, right at market open. And I did that because I believe that tomorrow or tonight's event, Peloton's event, earnings event, is a bit of a binary earnings call. I think we could get another steep drop. I think we could get another huge pullback, and this thing could pop back up to 100, 100 plus. And in that scenario, the value of those options would get completely wiped out. I still want to protect myself on Peloton from the downside, But I don't need options that are priced at $18, $19, $20 a piece. That was insane. Do you know how much my options were worth this morning? They were worth like $800,000. It was ridiculous how much they were worth. It was like $700,000, right? So I ended up selling those options and repurchasing new puts on Peloton at the $90 strike price. But this time I didn't purchase 400. I purchased 300 just to kind of more evenly match up with my my equity position. So I'm going to see, you know, I have less of a hedge now than I had yesterday. All that money I made on those puts, 50% of that money on my put, it's banked now. That's mine forever, right? So I basically lowered my cost of Peloton by $10 a share is what happened.
Yeah.
So I think my average cost of Peloton was probably in the mid to upper 30s. So now it's in the mid to upper 20s, right? For my entire position. I still have protection on the downside. I have about $300,000 of options, something like that. I don't know, $250,000 of options. And listen, I would love nothing more than Peloton. No, I'm going to lie. I don't want them to have a great earnings. I would love nothing more than that.
You've overhedged yourself.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I want Peloton to get knocked down one more day, because the dream setup for me is for Peloton to get knocked down another 10, 15 bucks tomorrow, 20 bucks. I don't care. The more the better, right? Except I'm worried about all of our friends in the community. And what I will be doing tomorrow, unless there's something that comes out on this earnings call that really shocks me, which I doubt, I'll be coming out tomorrow and selling those puts and potentially doubling down on my Peloton. Now, I don't know if I'm actually going to double down on my Peloton and go up to 60,000 shares, but I could see myself adding, I don't know, 10 or 20,000 shares of Peloton more than the 30,000 I have tomorrow. And I would love to be able to do that at $10 to $20 less than today's price after I cash out those puts. So that's the dream setup. It's greedy, okay? Half of me actually doesn't want that to happen, because I know the pit in the stomach our community would have that isn't hedging, guys like Peloton Gaines, who I love, and I don't want him to have to wake up tomorrow morning or tonight when earnings come out. I don't want him to have to deal with that. But that's kind of the dream personal setup. I have not lost any faith in Peloton, guys. I'm telling you right now, I have as much faith in connected fitness at this moment than I had a month ago, than I had a year ago, 6 months ago. I don't think anything has changed for Peloton. In fact, I think this entire experience with Peloton stock being crushed, with them having a recall, is exactly what needed to happen. Why? If you look at every high growth cult stock that has ever come out, I don't know, maybe I'm missing one. Amazon, Tesla, right? Lululemon. I mean, just there's so many more. Facebook. Every one of them has had this moment. Every single one of them has had this moment where either they screwed up or they got overhyped and then something bad happened and they got crushed and the sentiment on that stock went through the floor, okay? And in every one of those scenarios, when it was a fundamentally high growth narrative, cult following, extraordinary brand, company that generates massive, massive subscription revenues. What a beautiful thing to have fixed cost, but just untapped ceiling on subscription revenues in the very early stages of a cyclical trend, right? A cultural shift that is not just something that we experience here, but something that is global. In every one of those scenarios, those stocks, those companies have come back. And I just can't envision a scenario where that doesn't happen to Peloton. I don't know how long it takes, but I'm willing to wait around for that, because that's how much I believe in this company. And I just hope I get one more shot tomorrow or tonight, right? To buy in a little cheaper, because this is the flush out event I've been waiting for all year. And I think this might be the very last time that we have a shot at this. And I don't know if it's today, tomorrow, or this summer. It could draw out for months, but this is it. And
but
so
of the things that you outlined, it being a cult stock, it being a cultural shift, it being Does this not diminish their brand value? Does this not make you think twice before you spend way more money to buy something with their logo on it compared to a
Dave.
similar product from another manufacturer at a lower price point?
Dave, did the Lululemon the thin yoga pant scandal, right? When they had low quality issues, and the pants were too thin, and I think they had a recall. Did they actually recall those? They might have recalled them. And do you remember that was global news? Nothing worse for a brand that builds themselves on quality. We are the highest quality threads, highest quality materials. We're going to charge you triple the price. Why? Because we're just premium. And that was the biggest screw up ever. How quickly did we forget about that?
Yeah.
Right? Same thing here. If
well,
you don't
but they
think
also
that Peloton
had a period where their products were not as good, where they weren't coming out with styles that people liked as much, where they kind of missed a few times on hitting style, fashion, trend changes. And so Peloton now has this event that is all over the news, that people are now hearing danger when they're hearing the word Peloton. And for people who haven't yet bought into this cult-like atmosphere that they create among people who are fans of the product, are they going to have a harder time finding the next wave of fans? Or are they going to be able to just keep making new products to monetize those people?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Because I mean, really, to me, the tread it's not even the primetime product, right? The primetime product is the bike. And with either product, if you're into it, you're going to keep paying Peloton $500 a year for your subscription, right? And so,
but they sold 125,000 of these treads.
Into this lifetime of recurring revenue, because you have to have that for the product to work. And they've got all these products out there. If somebody gets tired of it, they don't just turn it off. They go and sell it to somebody else that wants one for 90% of what they paid for it. And that person's then going to spend the $500 a year to get the streaming content from Peloton. So I'm not scared of this.
Dude, right. How about Robinhood? Every story, every single one. People forget. Nobody cares. And in fact, you know what's so funny about this story, guys? People don't even really care right now. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is a tragedy. But
there are people with Peloton bikes who are like, nah, they're fine. I'm not going to send mine back in. So basically, here's what the company is doing.
It's only the
bike's
tread,
not even an
tread
issue.
Was a bad design. This is what I don't get. How do you put a design out there like that when you know that there's a reason that people have safety devices on treadmills? I think it was a bad decision, and that does bother me, Dave. The design of the Tread Plus, but
I just think
it's going to crush them because again,
it's a company known for making bad decisions.
Is the bike.
Oh, Dave, stop it.
I will remind you, though, that the bike also had a recall. They had a pedal problem that was breaking and causing, I don't know if it caused injuries, but causing problems. And so they actually had that recall just in October.
Can I just tell you guys?
But that was minor under the radar news. This is like recalling the entire product after doubling down and saying, you know what? The Consumer Product Protection Agency they don't know what they're talking about. This is a safe product. Keep riding your bikes. And then 3 weeks later coming out and saying, whoops, we made a mistake. We're recalling it. We will let you send it back for free and get your money back. Or if you don't want to send it back, if you like the product, we're upgrading the software where you're going to have to enter a password to do it. And we will come to your house and inspect the location and move it to a safer room in your house for free. That's what they're going to do.
How many companies have recalls? Every single one of them have recalls. And here's the thing, guys. Jordan, I do agree with you. Like, I think that was a bet, kind of like the music thing. They were growing too fast. But here's the thing. This is the reason why they're Peloton and we don't have, a $30 billion company that we started, because they just don't care that much about that stuff. They're just growing too fast. They're not making decisions when it comes to that. But they will learn from it. They will get better, right? They will get better. Look at companies like Volkswagen. My God, the biggest companies in the world that have tens of billions of dollars of R&D make these mistakes all the time, guys. It's because it's Peloton that it's even a story. Do you know how many recalls there are right now over crib manufacturers that kill babies? Every single year for the last 20 years, they still can't get these darn cribs right, so they stop killing
By
babies.
the way,
Like,
if you have a
it happens
crib
every
that's
year.
over like 4 or 5 years old, chances are it's recalled, right? And so like you have
Yes,
like you're not supposed
everyone.
to sell used cribs because of that. And so that's why there's the new crib market, because they're always making it a little bit better.
And
And
I'm just
that's
gonna
their
say
whole
for the
job
record,
is
I'm not being a
safety.
negative Nancy. I like to call it being the devil's advocate. I want Peloton to do well because my best friends are investors in it. I just don't see it. And so you can convince me. I've bought it before. During a show, you convinced me that I needed to buy it, and so I did one time. And then I can't remember if it went up or down, but I was like, I'm gonna sell that one. That's not one that I need to be on margin for.
And by the way, I think they're giving customers until November of next year to return it for a
Yes.
full refund, which is
Yes.
I mean that's pretty generous. So I feel like they have done the right thing. Then people can make their own decisions on what they want to do with them. So
Yeah, they're
hopefully this is a
they're
good PR
fixing
move
it
for the company.
after pressure from the Federal Consumer Protection Commission. They're fixing the problem. I get it.
You know, sometimes I mean it takes a while to figure out what the right thing is, but they figured it out.
Yeah, listen, they made
I
the right decision.
I just hope they're not going to have another product that is that. Do we even like a rowing machine? What's their next product? Right.
Okay, let me
Dave,
just say
stock
something.
surfing says you're not being a negative Nancy, you're being a real Ronnie.
They will have. Can I say something right now? Peloton will have another product.
Oh, I forgot about the data leak.
At some point in the future. That's going to happen.
How did I forget about the data leak when I was
That
giving my
practically didn't happen with this recall. That just snuck under the radar. And it's not like they
Hey,
gave
it was
up
great
Social
time to
Security
push
numbers,
the
Dave.
recall
They were
out,
giving
right?
up like heart rate data. I mean, come on, who cares?
Listen, guys. Do you know how many? Do you remember when Apple, Steve Jobs, right, pushed out their Maps data, their Maps product that couldn't even get you like a mile away from your house without sending you to a random parking lot? Okay, that's Apple, Dave. Okay, that's how bad they were, and they released the product. I'm just telling you, like, this stuff happens every day. There's certain companies that have the spotlight on them. At one point in time, it was Lululemon. Right now, it's Peloton. They have a big target on them. And so something like this happens and it becomes a global media story. Do you know what? This media story is actually going to help Peloton in the long term. Why? Because Peloton is on the cover of every paper. People are talking about them. We're talking about them.
No, I actually from a media standpoint, the value of, I mean, when they had their controversial commercial, that Christmas commercial, and that got people talking about it and making fun of it. What got a Saturday Night Live skit out of it. There's no such thing as bad press, even if that press is that your product killed someone.
Oh, thank you, Buck. How about Bendgate, Dave? Remember Bendgate, the iPhone 4?
Oh, yes, of course.
Bendgate.
Yes.
How many billions of dollars went into the development of that phone, Dave? How many billions of dollars? Is there a company on earth that had more people checking a product before it hit the street than Apple?
And
they have
antenna gate,
Bendgate?
and there seems to be a gate. People love the gates with these popular products. I'm surprised they haven't had a tread gate named after this yet, because popular companies have people watching for them, and they're all excited to see them fail.
Yeah. Listen, I
Steve
wish
Jobs came
that
out
I
and said,
didn't-
"You're holding it wrong."
That was amazing. By the way,
That was from their antenna gate.
Do you see the similarities between Steve Jobs and John Foley here? John Foley basically
I'm not
said the same
I'm not gonna let you say that John Foley is a Steve Jobs level visionary. I'm not going that. You can't convince me of that.
I'm not trying to, but you see the similarities in
Nope.
terms of how they think about this stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, how they think about this stuff. They're like, dude, I'm changing the world, okay? Like, I'm literally changing the world. And by the way, Steve Jobs changed the world with the iPhone and how people live. And John Foley is changing people and their health and how they live, and how it's just, they are similar in that way, okay? Now we can
I'm gonna agree with
debate
Dave. Foley is no
stuff.
Jobs, and no Cook either.
Exactly.
Dude,
Apple leadership. See, the main problem I have with Peloton is not their product or I think I like their brand. I love that they have this following of people who are brand advocates that are out there telling their friends to go buy the product and join them online for a writing session or whatever. What I don't like is the decisions that I've seen the management team make over time. And,
oh wait, so Dave, you're saying you don't like
if they can come out of this the same way Tylenol came out with when Tylenol had the poisoning issue decades ago or whatever that was, tampered packages. I don't even remember because I remember that, but I don't remember what the thing was. But they came out ahead because they did a good job of containing and handling the scandal.
Howard Lindzen had a tweet this morning. I'm gonna pull it up, and it is fantastic as it relates to Peloton. Okay, and it's so true. It's not why I'm invested in Peloton, but he makes a lot of sense. Let me just hold on. It might have been a reply tweet. He basically said that. Sorry guys, I'm trying to find it here. Hold on. Of course, the one time I try to find a tweet, I can't do it. Oh, here he goes. He goes, Peloton at 24 billion. In today's world of cash and brands, way undervalued, and I bought more today because everything would pay twice that to own it. And they would. They're not going to because no one's going to sell it at twice that. But I'm telling you right now, this instant, that Apple would pay twice that to own Peloton. Okay? They would pay that. Apple would pay $160 a share right now and buy Peloton if it was available. Okay? Worst case scenario. Amazon would buy Peloton. Google would buy Peloton. Okay? That's what I think people don't understand. When you have a company that has the brand that they have, that has the logistics, the manufacturing, and the SaaS model of people paying $40 a month with fixed cost on the front end of a global revolution towards connected fitness that might take 10 to 20 years to play out, okay? And it might be bumpy along the road. You have no idea how big of a target a company like Peloton is, but they're not a target because everybody knows they're not selling. Like they're not.
Well, Chris, think about this. It's not even that. You didn't even mention engagement. Think about how much engagement.
Oh my God, engagement. Yeah,
it's insane.
It's totally insane. It's totally insane, and that's why like people just are not. They're clouded by the noise of this news. By the noise of the worry that Peloton's going to have a few bad quarters. And by the way, they might have a few bad quarters here. I was prepared for this. I always knew that this summer was likely going to be the roughest summer ever for Peloton because we're coming out of the pandemic. You have a lot of people, some people are going to sell their bikes, some people are going to cancel their orders, and a lot of other people are going to be traveling and they're going to want to get outside. And there's like, not worried about an indoor Peloton right now. There's no worse time for Peloton than this very moment, okay?
But your longer-term thesis is that people are going to continue to do this connected fitness. The revolution that started during pandemic is going to continue the same way that Zoom is seeing a pullback because people are, I guess, going back to the office and not doing as many Zoom calls, although it just seems to me that fundamentally business has changed, working out has changed. I get it. But you think that this is going to continue to accelerate, or has it basically hit the acceleration peak, and now it's just going to be not like a hyper growth company, but it could potentially just be a normal company?
So Dave, they pulled forward a lot of demand, right? So like last year was all a demand pull forward. And they pulled forward so much demand that anybody and everybody that was in a market where you could buy a Peloton, if you were thinking about maybe buying a Peloton, you're definitely buying one when you're in the middle of a pandemic and you don't even have another option because gyms are closed, right? So it was the perfect setup for Peloton to pull forward demand. So when you pull forward demand, what are you going to have? You're going to have kind of, now a drought of demand for some period of time because everybody ordered them, right? And now people that didn't get one or they got a competitor, they're not in a rush to get one right this moment going into the summer months. Because remember, guys, summer months are rough for connected fitness, right? People are traveling, they can go outside, they want to do stuff, they don't want to be stuck in their home. Peloton does better in the winter months, not the summer months. This summer happens to be the worst of all summers because we're coming out of an 18-month pandemic.
It's a roaring 2020s.
Go to a gym,
yeah.
right? So it really
what
is
about,
like this perfect storm.
What about the next wave of
bad
equipment,
in the
though?
spring and the fall. The only time I use my Peloton is like in the, like you said, sometimes the winter, but mostly the summer because it's brutal to be outside.
Well, we're
okay. Time out.
An anomaly here in Texas, Jordan. But yeah,
we're now coming to the point where Jordan owns one of these, not the tread, but the bike, right? And you are an avid cyclist, and you have the bike product, and you say you mainly use it when you can't ride your real bike, right? Do you, right. I know you go around turning off every light switch in your house when you're not in the room. You've automated your pool pump to go down to lower your electricity consumption because you're squeezing every penny. Do you continue to pay your Peloton subscription even though you're not using the bike?
Yeah, you pay like annually. So they wouldn't let you do they wouldn't let you Netflix.
They don't have a monthly
They're not
term.
month to month. So they're like an annual subscription fee. And plus, I'm not the only one in the house that uses it. My wife uses it. The reason I got it versus doing something else indoor that's more pure cycling is that both of us can use it. Right?
And your decision-making factor for Peloton over another brand was influenced by all the people you know saying Peloton's the best, right? Like there are things that I really like about Peloton. I'm not completely anti-Peloton.
Dave, it's about buying an iPhone versus buying a Nokia phone. It's just.
Yeah, no, I got my Peloton like 3 years ago, before any of this craziness, before it was even dreamed of going public. I got it because I wanted to have an indoor trainer, but Adrian wanted to be able to do indoor spin classes, so it was like a good compromise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. And like I say, there's a lot that I like about this company. I have been convinced to buy it and own it in the past. It's just not something that there's just so many other opportunities out there that I would rather be invested in.
Okay. That's actually, Dave, that's a good point to bring up. And that's something that counts more now than it ever has. Opportunity cost. It's not just about Peloton, it's about opportunity cost. We talk about this all the time. We have a bunch of high conviction trades right now. We have a bunch of medium conviction trades right now. So every dollar that we put into something like a Peloton is a dollar we pull out of another trade. I'm at close to 60% margin.
My opportunity cost, I feel like every day I feel just upset with myself that I have such a large position in Amazon. It's my favorite company. They're going to do well for the long term, but I have so much of my portfolio wrapped up in it that I'm unable to buy some of the other things that actually have done better over this past 6 months.
Dave, can we talk about that for a second? Because Amazon, I've been thinking about that because I know you've been mentioning this a lot lately. I've thought about this quite a bit with Bezos and his ex-wife. They started selling massive amounts of stock 2 years ago, right? Year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and they've been kind of upping it. And now it's every quarter, right? It's essentially every quarter, 3 days after earnings, they dump billions of dollars of stock. Billions of dollars of stock.
Yeah.
I don't see that ending. That has been a real drag for me. And I've made a bunch of money the last few quarters shorting the stock the day before the window opens up. And it's worked really well for me, and I forgot to do it this quarter, and I'm really pissed at myself because I was going to do it again. But you have to understand that by doing that, it just kind of depresses the multiple on the stock. And at some point, you never know when this is going to be. Kind of like Apple, it'll flatline for a long time, and at some point, there's enough of a driver on Amazon that you're going to get that multiple expansion. It's going to far outweigh whatever Bezos is selling that quarter, right, to continue to depress the stock. So I love Amazon, and I'm going to stick with my Amazon, Dave. but I think about it differently. I think about it as a stock that even more underappreciated, because no matter how good it does, no matter what, we're still going to get billions of dollars sold every single quarter. It's going to happen. It's going to basically depress the stock.
I just think that, at least for me, Peloton is overpriced. It's been overvalued. It's had so much hype going into it. I mean, okay, here is...
It has the opposite of hype.
Well, right now it has some negative hype, but this run up during the pandemic, if you look at Apple and Amazon compared to Peloton just like eclipsed all of these companies.
I felt
this goes back to their IPO. I mean, if we go back further, you'll see that those other companies have done well, but this charts it back to when Peloton IPO'd, and it just went straight up 500%. And now it's given back half of that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I felt super uncomfortable when it got up above 120, 130. I was like, this is insane. But like, I don't trade price. I knew that I should have just bit the bullet and bought my puts back then. I should have done it. That's what I wanted to do, because I was always concerned about this phase of their growth right here, where we are right now today. This is what I was concerned about. And I don't necessarily know if the picture gets a lot better for Peloton over the next few months. I think it could be a rough summer, but I also don't know how investors are going to perceive that. I don't know what tricks Foley has up his sleeve to sell the future right now. I don't know if he can patch the next few months with international sales and new products and other things, and gym sales, right, with their new acquisition, right? If he can lower cost on manufacturing. There might be all kinds of tricks he has up his sleeve. We'll find out tonight, right, on the earnings call, that could kind of bridge between now and when things hopefully start to look better for Peloton. I hope it's going to be this next fall and winter season, right? Perhaps not, but maybe so. And by the way, guys, you're looking at a global growth story, right? Like, it's a global story. They can expand both internationally, and they could also expand by bringing in new products, right? Which is really interesting. Now, if you go back and you look at other companies...
Now, which countries are they in currently, though? I think they have already done some...
Germany, Canada, okay?
UK.
The US, Canada, Germany, UK, and I think they're about to go into, or if they already did launch in Australia. That's kind of where they are. But beyond that, they can also expand by broadening out their product line. Because Dave, remember this, they now have access to more manufacturing than they've ever had access to with this acquisition, and they have access to distribution there. So it's just, there's a lot of, all I'm going to say, guys, is there are more questions than answers for the next 3 to 5 months. A lot of questions, not a lot of answers. I think there are more answers than questions once we start going out 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So I don't want to miss this boat. There's a 0% chance that I'm going to be left watching Peloton when it enters that next phase, when no one's really, it's not as much about hype. It's just about the fact that, oh, now here we are. We're in year 2 or year 3 of the 20-year connected fitness run. And we have a half a dozen companies, and Peloton has 80% market share. And we watch them grow from a $24 billion company to a $240 billion company. It's not even a big deal. It's just like, hey, they have 6 different products. They're in 25 countries. Connected fitness is not for everyone, but it's for a lot of people. And they kind of are the leader in the space, so the Apple in the space. I see that story so vividly in my head playing out that I'm not going to miss that. I'm just not going to do it, because we're at the moment that I've always looked back upon. Oh, that moment when Lulu did this, or when Apple did that, or when Tesla did this, like all of these, like, or when Amazon, that thing happened to Amazon. We're here right now. It feels really bad. It feels really scary, right? But this is the moment. And I've been there so many times that it doesn't even faze me anymore. Like, I don't even feel it. Like, it's just like I see right through it. Doesn't mean there's not risk. There's lots of risk. A billion things could happen to Peloton, right? They could have more recalls. By the way, another company like Apple could be like, ooh, dude, we've been developing the super bike this whole time, and guess what? We're charging $15 a month, not 40. I mean, there's all kinds of things that could crush Peloton or at least change the narrative for them the next few years. But I'm willing to take that risk.
So it will be an interesting call. I just saw in the comments people are asking if we're going to stream it. Chris, you are welcome to figure out how to stream it, but I'm going to be in a van doing the van life thing for my other channel. Just kidding.
I can't. And
I was talking about doing a van life, millionaire van life, like TikTok channel.
Yes, do it. Do it.
So if you want to follow me on TikTok, I think I'm Dave Hansen on TikTok. I don't know what I am.
On that note, I know we told you guys that, you know, we had this competition and we are working with a bunch of creators and hopefully many, many more over the next year. But, you know, the first creator that we started working with on a pilot episode for the Dumb Money channel has their first episode ready to go. I think on Tuesday we're going to air that. So, guys, please subscribe to our OG channel, youtube.com/dumbmoney. We are going to premiere that on Tuesday. We cannot wait. We hope to see the final cut of that today. Really exciting, like our first kind of, what do you call this, Dave?
That should be really cool.
A launch platform. It's based, Dumb Money's going to be just a launch platform
kind of
for financial creators,
I call it a network. It's a network of finance-related content from a whole family. It's the Dumb Money family of creators that we're trying to foster for the future.
Yeah. So we'll announce who that person is, and we will actually show you the episode.
So we're gonna basically
Tuesday.
live stream here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then premiere the episode. We'll watch it live with you, and then we'll talk with this creator, I guess, during the before, during, and after the episode.
And you know the thing I like the most about this creator? This creator is like the opposite of us. This creator enjoys things that I just don't really enjoy. This creator goes about investing, and the investing journey this creator's on is just not at all like mine right now. So like it's just topics and the way that the creators going to address things is very different from me and Dave and Jordan, which is might be a good thing, right? And
I think that's great. I think that's what that's what it needs, because we are three opinions, and there are so many other voices out there that have good ideas and have creative ways to make money, and that's what it's all about. It's not just finance and stocks; it's just ways to make money.
Yeah. Oh, fin producers, Dave. Are we fin producers now? Is that what we are?
I think we're at least fin tubers. But we could be.
Oh man. Anyway, okay. So the reason why I'm not doing another live call this afternoon is because I'm not just listening to Peloton. I'm listening to Charles and Covard. I'm listening to Funko. Funko has earnings this afternoon. And
do you know what you should do though? At least you should live tweet these.
I will. All right. I'll live. What do you mean live tweet? Like a stream?
Like
tweet?
just like tweet. Like when they say something interesting, you send out a tweet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Not like a video thing. Just like you typing. Yeah. You'll probably be tweeting anyway. Yeah. Just people can follow you at Chris Camillo to.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do that.
And I figured out that I am Dave Hansen. I'm Dave Hansen on TikTok. So please follow me, because I have only 12 followers and 0 videos posted, but I'm going to post something from van life, and it's going to be a different take on van life for sure, because I'm an old man.
I'm preparing for my TikTok launch. I've been preparing for months, and I have not gotten the courage to do it yet, but I'm at Chris Camillo 0. I don't know why that's my name, but at Chris Camillo 0. It's not a good name. I should probably
Terrible
change
name.
that. But that's where you can find me, or maybe it's 0 Chris Camillo. I don't know.
How about you just go to dumbmoney.tv, and I will link to both of our TikToks, and I'm guessing I'm about 80% certainty that Jordan does not yet have a TikTok.
No, he does not.
No idea. Probably will never do it.
And although we sound like boomers right now, we're actually Gen Xers, so
that's
get
right.
It right if you're gonna
Xer.
trash on us.
Am I a Gen Xer or am I a millennial, Chris? I don't even know.
Oh, I always forget you're slightly younger. than us.
I'm like right on the
Maybe more than
border.
You
depends
act
on
older than
which,
us. You're the mature,
People
like,
magazine article
controlled
you read.
one amongst us.
I know. Guys, can I just say something? I am.
You have other you teased a bunch of things up front that I think you're forgetting about because you're getting tired now.
Yeah.
But you talked
Okay, no, no,
about the
okay.
Funko trade.
Yeah, I
you
wanna
talked
talk about
about
it real
all the earnings calls.
I did not double down because I already have a ton, but I added almost $500,000 via options, so like less than $500,000, but controlling $500,000 more stock in Playa Resorts on their earnings call this morning. So Playa dropped by like 6%. I think the drop was ridiculous. I think the earnings call was incredibly strong. People were too focused on this quarter, which I knew would be kind of a disaster because, you know, we went into lockdown mid-quarter. Playa, I love the earnings call. I added a bunch. You guys know it's one of my favorite recovery stocks. We've talked about it half a dozen times on this show. But you know a stock that I think I'm just really starting to get excited about, guys? And we've done an episode on this. We've talked about it. But they have earnings today. And I don't expect anything to come out of earnings today. Like, I expect nothing today. This is not a story about earnings or this month, but Funko. And that's why I texted you last night, Dave, and I was like, call me on Funko. Because I just can't get away from this narrative. And the more I dig in deep on the Funko NFT launch that will happen in June, the more I realize that the market just has no clue what's coming. The way that Funko has phrased what they're doing to the media, it's really confusing. And I don't think people quite understand that it's not Funko releasing NFTs. They're not just gonna be like, hey, here's some NFT versions of our Funko Pop. No, that's not what they're doing. Funko, and if you read between the lines, you could really start to appreciate the excitement that the CEO has. They know what they're doing. They know this is potentially huge. They are gamifying. They are gamifying NFTs in the same exact way that Top Shots did, but in a totally unique way, because Top Shots, what makes Top Shots so popular is that, and this is the NBA product, the basketball product, for those of you who don't know NBA Top Shots, is that you buy them in packs. And you don't know what you're going to get. And you have that same gamifying experience that you get when you open up a pack of baseball cards or basketball cards, right? And so it's essentially legal gambling. And that's why Top Shots is so popular. Funko is doing the same exact thing, but they're adding a twist. So they will release, they keep saying we're going to release one product a week, one NFT product a week. But what they mean, when you dig in deep, is that they're going to release one Funko pack product, the same way that NBA Top Shots releases a pack product like once a week, okay? Meaning like they'll be like, hey, we're going to release the Marvel pack this week. We're going to release the Harry Potter pack this week. But what it is a pack of like 12 or 15 or 50 different Funko digital images along the lines of that theme, and you don't know what you're going to get in that pack. But if you end up getting a super rare Funko NFT, right, like a 1 of 500 or a 1 of 200, or maybe they'll even do 1 of 1s, I have no idea, you then get mailed, I assume it's by the mail, an actual physical super rare Funko Pop, okay? And guys, that is a mind-blowing concept, that it's the gamification of NFTs that we already know psychologically works really well. So the only thing you have to ask yourself right now is, how do we size that opportunity for Funko? And Dave, if we can just pull up something, I think this is really interesting. We know that basketball cards is huge right now. It's like the biggest of all the cards right now. If you pull up a Google Trends chart 5-year globally, because basketball's global, they got basketball cards, for basketball cards, and then right next to that, you pull up Funko Pop, okay? We can start to size how big the interest in Funko Pops are relative to basketball cards. And I would do Funko Pop because people don't really search for pops. Funko Pop. You can do 2 words, yeah. There we go. So do global, Dave. Did you do basketball right? I don't think you. I don't think you actually.
Basketball cards as a search term.
Yeah, you did do it right. I mean that was even a bigger discrepancy than I saw last night. So I was thinking you did it a little wrong. But people don't understand.
What did I do wrong? I spelled. Should it be NBA cards?
No. I mean, you could do. Truthfully, there's a bigger demand, like bigger global demand. There's bigger demand domestically for baseball cards. You can do baseball cards; it'll pop up higher. But I just want to kind of show you that well, that's weird. I don't know why that's showing that. Yeah. So anyway, either way, irrelevant. It's bigger than I even anticipated it would. People don't understand how big this is for Funko. If you look at how much revenue Top Shots generated for basketball, right? In NFTs, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. If Funko executes on this, and at this point, I think it's just an execution play. If they execute, we're talking about a business that is realistically theoretically, bigger than all of Funko right now. Okay? This could be the next. Do you remember Overstock, guys? I kept talking about this. Overstock when they got involved with crypto back in the day. Like this could be the next Overstock where the primary business is almost kind of becomes irrelevant. The stock could skyrocket, right? Based on the success of this NFT launch. And I'm sitting here watching this and I'm just thinking about it. And it's just kind of blowing my mind. Now, I know it's an execution play, and maybe Funko screws it up. Maybe they screwed up. Maybe I'm missing something. But we're talking about digital NFTs that if they get the right licenses to do this, and I would have to assume they're going to get almost all of them, because why wouldn't they? They're just licensing the digital version of what they already have the license for, which is a Funko Pop image.
Yep.
I mean, they'll be doing this for the biggest brands in the world, right? Like Disney, Marvel.
They have the most scalable possible platform for existing licensed content that they can just crank out like highly desirable NFTs. Where it seems like that's
have enough people been underwater in these NBA Top Shots that now they're like skeptical of any NFT that's going to come out.
No, they're not. I don't think they're underwater, Jordan. I think the only issue with NBA Top Shots was that they were having issues taking your money out of the system because they weren't prepared for that type of demand. So like once you want to redeem and then send me my money back because I sold the car. See, Jordan, they have their own ecosystem like eBay where people can sell.
Yeah. And
then you could then you have cash like a bank, you got to get it back. They just weren't prepared for that. They boggled the entire thing, but they're still super hot and killing it. And by the way, guys, baseball cards with Topps. Topps is doing the same thing now through Wax and killing it. They're crushing it with the Topps NFTs, like crushing it. And by the way, they're doing the same thing with the packs, right? And there's a theme here. It's not about the NFT. It's not about the NFT. It's about the gamifying of these packs. So what Top Shots did was interesting because they created a new type of experience with these like video images that last for 7 seconds and there's like someone taking a shot. That's kind of cool, but honestly, between me and you, like, so what? Like you're a registered kind of like NFT owner, one of 4,000 people that kind of own it, but anyone else can see it. It's very weird, right? It's very weird. You don't have that issue with Funko because if you get the good one, they're going to mail you the good one, right? And you're going to have one of 500 people in the world with this limited edition, Star Wars Funko Pop, which people already go crazy for. Some of these are selling for $10,000. The difference is no one is thinking about it because it's a bunch of Funko nerds, and people don't realize how big of a market there is of people that like this stuff versus people that like basketball cards. I
Yeah,
get
no,
basketball cards, okay?
I think though, as soon as
Like-
you put the NFT initials after something, it's gonna blow up. And they have such good intellectual property already. So I just think that's a great move. What do you think
And
about
it's the
Gary
pack.
Vee's new V-Friends?
Well, that's a great question. I've been thinking about this since yesterday because I was going to buy one.
Then
Here's what I
happened?
don't like. First of all, let me just say what I do like. What I do like is he's trying to do something different. He's trying to create something and expand the NFT world into transactional NFTs where you actually receive access and value for your NFT. I think that was amazing. But their price, this reverse auction, this Dutch auction, is starting pretty high. And if they end up going anywhere near that level, which is like $10,000 for the cheapest NFT, you would basically be paying $9,000, $10,000 for what he calls basically, I think it's an access NFT, which basically just gets you into his conference.
Access
every
tokens
year
for his
3
conference.
years.
Yeah.
3 years, that's it. 3 years, Dave. So that's like $3,000 a year. When you normally pay $3,000 for a ticket to go to Gary V World or VCon, like, and then and after that, is there any value after that, Dave? Like, I mean, I know Jordan, you're not into the NFTs at all, but like, I don't get it.
It's a collectible. I mean, that's the ongoing value. Is there's a limited edition. He has super rare ones. He has like he's built the same infrastructure that all of the NFT collectible universes are doing.
I think that when you make it transactional, it becomes the equivalent of a ticket. So yeah, is a ticket to a famous concert or a famous World Series game have some value? They do have some value, but because they were transactional items, I don't think they carry a lot of value relative to something that is artistic or something that was designed to be kind of commemorative value, right? And so that's my issue. I think if Gary Vee would have done something that had more value in perpetuity, such as, hey, forever, as long as I'm alive, you have VIP access.
I think he just doesn't want to commit to doing VCon for the rest of his life. I think it's like, yeah, I know I can do 3 more of them.
He doesn't have to, Dave. He could be like, as long as I do VCon, I don't know how long, I will guarantee I will do VCon for 3 years, but I might do it for 50. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could have been like, hey, as long as I'm doing it, I promise to give you 3 years, but it might be 50. You're going to always get in. And then all of a sudden, that has some value. And by the way, this is what I don't like about it. He should have said, hey, it includes you plus a guest or you plus 3 guests or something like that. Because then you're like, okay, now it becomes an annuity. Because I don't even need to go to VCon. I can just kind of sell this to and people can just, I can sell my plus ones, right? Like, that would kind of be cool. It makes it into like an asset. Like Gary Vee is basically allowing you to buy an asset that is based on his popularity in perpetuity. That would have been cool. I just think it wasn't that well thought out, but it could just, maybe I'm overthinking it. I'm not going to buy one, and I was kind of planning on buying one because I don't know that I necessarily am even going to be able to go to V World because I have a family, and if it falls on the same weekend as my kid's birthday, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, he didn't put out any of that information. So, like, are you going to pay all that money for something that's transactional when you're not even sure if you're even able to go to the event because the first event hasn't even been announced yet? It might fall on your best buddy's wedding day, right? Like, it's just your wife's birthday, and she's not going to be cool with you taking off
to VCon,
right? Like, VCon. Oh, like, it's just so.
It has not been announced. Multiple day event happening sometime before May 5th of 2022. That's all the website has to say about that.
It's not enough. It's not enough. I felt like, you know, Gary Vee has this whole concept. He loves 5s, and he really wanted to get this thing out on 5/5, right? And I felt like he was under so much stress to get this out under 5/5 that if he had another month to work on this, I don't think this is the product he would have put out. I think he had this thing in his head. He wants to get down 5.5. But the thing is, Gary, nobody cares about 5.5 other than you, right? So it's like that's where he missed it. Like, do the right thing. Don't worry about 5.5, even though you're obsessed with the number 5. I don't know. Like, I love Gary Vee. I think he has one of the best TikTok channels in the world. I'm obsessed with it. And I wish him a bunch of luck with the NFT drop when it happens. I don't see myself buying one though. I will be buying. You know what I will buy? And this is the interesting. I will buy. You know how much interest I have in Funko Pops? 0. Okay, 0 interest.
But you're going to buy the Funko NFTs.
I will buy the Funko NFT packs, but do you know why I'll buy them? I will buy them for the gaming process of it, the excitement of hoping that I get to get one of those ultra rares, right? In a pack. And then I get sent the ultra rare, and then I could sell it on eBay for $2,000, right? Or $3,000. Like, to me, just the experience of opening the packs is exciting and interesting, and I'll just sell it. Or maybe I won't sell it. Maybe if I think it's really cool, I'll put it back here with my shoes, right? But like, I will do it for the excitement of it. I think that's what people are missing. They're going to pull in people like me. Do you realize that a lot of the people that are buying sports cards right now, they don't even care that much about the sports cards. They're doing it for the excitement of the gamemanship of ripping packs and hoping that they get a $5,000 card in that pack. And what do they do with the card? They immediately sell it on eBay. That's what people don't understand. So I'm really kind of psyched about Funko. And so earnings are tonight. I'm not really expecting them to say all that much. I'm super curious because I want to read between the lines how they're going to execute this NFT drop. So I'll be listening, but I don't necessarily see this as like a blockbuster quarter or anything for Funko. But I will say this, the data looks good. The Funko data looks really good this quarter. They might have a strong quarter. And I just know that I want to own Funko in June and July. And so I don't want to risk that if it is a weird, super strong quarter, the stock runs, and then I'm having to buy it extra high. Because when I missed out on that overstock deal, I was like, I'm never going to miss out on one of these opportunities again. One of these asymmetrical risk opportunities where you have something that could be bigger than the company itself, but if it doesn't happen, it's not even a big deal, right? Like if this whole NFT thing went away tomorrow for Funko, it's not a big negative.
It's not core to their business because it hasn't been a part of their business. They had a thing that, Okay, so I went back and I couldn't remember what the other thing we teased was, so I went back and listened to the beginning of the show while you were talking. So I don't know what you were saying.
You're a producer.
Charles and Colvard is the other one that has earnings coming out that we were going to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. I'm in, man. I'm in. I bought more, and I'm not gonna go crazy with it because it's still like a ridiculously small micro cap with a management team that I'm not 100% sure I can trust them to fully take advantage of the opportunity in front of them. But
do you think they're going to address the Pandora, now that Pandora's out of the box and they're no longer selling mined diamonds, only lab-grown diamonds? Is that going to come up?
Yeah.
Do they have a contract with Pandora? Are they...
Analysts will ask them about it.
But do you think that... is that going to have an impact on their sales immediately, or is this just more of the trend towards lab being the acceptable version of diamonds is going to be huge for them in the future?
I mean, I think it's big for them, and I think they will address it. I think they'll get asked about it, and I don't think it directly impacts them. I think it's more of just another signal that this is a growing segment of the marketplace, right? And I think that means a lot. So I could honestly see myself, Jordan, couldn't you see yourself like kind of holding on to Charles and Colvard for a little while this whole thing just continues to gain momentum? If it does, I mean, as long as the movement gains momentum, they're probably a net winner unless they really screw it up. That would be my concern is Chinese knockoff competitors, right? Getting really aggressive in the space if the space starts to blow up. Because if it gets really popular, you're going to get a lot of knockoffs. And at that point, I'm going to get really pissed off if this company doesn't do what they need to do to make sure that they keep their brand out front and do the big deals with the TikTok stars that probably don't want to be affiliated with a junky Chinese knockoff company, but they'd be happy to be affiliated with the #1 brand in Moissanite. And it's a huge opportunity, and I hope they take advantage of it. At some point, I'll sell the stock if they're not.
Yeah, and I sold when they started to dip down. You know, it was this trend up that we were in it for, and then when they started going down, I sold, and look at what's happened since.
Look at you paper handing, Dave.
I didn't have moissanite hands on that one at all. I'll admit it.
Wait, you sold? I'm sorry, I was reading a text. You sold?
Yeah, I sold my Charles and Clavard when it started dipping. I'm not the only one. Seamus sold his with a 50% profit. Delicatessen Dave, right is that my? No, it's I did not have moissanite hands. My paper hands.
I know Jordan didn't sell. I know Jordan didn't.
Oh wait, you know what? I was looking at the wrong chart. I had the Dogecoin chart pulled up when I was doing that. Because I was just wondering how my Doge was doing, but
how is your Doge? So let's.
I also had Charles and Colvard pulled up a minute ago.
What is your Doge strategy, Dave? I mean, I joked around on Twitter that I'm like, I'm not selling to you know, until we inhabit the moon and we could fully value the currency. but
for my justification here, see how Charles and Colvard also had this slope down and then up, and that's why I got confused about which chart I was even looking at. They basically go the same chart. So moissanite to the moon. Now my Doge strategy is I'm just hanging on to it.
You can just hang on. Would you sell on Saturday? Okay, let's just say Saturday Night Live is coming. Big expectations, right?
That's yes.
Let's just say that nothing happens. He doesn't even mention Doge.
I don't think
Saturday Night Live.
I don't think he will mention Doge.
That's a problem for Doge. It's a huge problem.
I think he's. Is it though? I know that there are a lot of people waiting for that.
Dave, it's a huge problem if he doesn't mention it on Saturday Night Live. If there's no mention, if there's no skit, I think Doge falls maybe 50%. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's okay.
How do they do a Doge skit? Get a dog on stage? I don't know. They'll do something.
Are you kidding me, Jordan?
Anything to the moon.
It's the biggest...
I can't wait for this episode.
Okay,
it's going to be great.
If you're a Saturday Night Live writer and Elon's coming on, and you're not going to do a skit about Doge, or you know all those writers are invested in Doge, every last one of them. You know they
That's what I'm saying.
Actually, are they? That's what we need to be doing. We need to be looking at the writers' Twitter accounts and see if they've had any mentions, because we know that the some of the cast members have already had some kind of anti-Elon tweets and posts to their socials.
You're better.
But I feel like they go after
investor than
situations like this. I mean, they did the NFT skit.
What, Jordan?
They did the NFT skit, so this is in their wheelhouse.
Yeah. Okay. Right now, our community needs to figure out who those Saturday Night Live writers are. Get on their Twitter, see if any of these people are talking about Doge. Okay, because if they are, that is a signal right there. Or if they're Doge haters, that could be another signal. But yeah, absolutely. I think I want to sell 80% of my Doge this weekend if it pops. Like if we get a skit, if we get a mention, if we get anywhere near $1, I have a number in my head where I would like to sell my Doge. I don't want to like put it out there to the world because I feel like by doing that, you know, there's at least going to be a few hundred people that are going to sell their Doge a penny before it hits my number. So I don't want to do that. This thing is a game, guys. This is nothing but a game here. This is not serious stuff. It's a battle to figure out when to sell this thing. And listen, I want to own some Doge for a long time. I really do. So I'm not selling all my Doge. Dave, I'm going to keep 20% probably no matter what. But I want to sell a big chunk if it hits this weekend.
It's the future of money. I don't know. I literally made that my Doge investment live on the air just because we were talking about it. It's like, oh yeah, that's funny. I had this money sitting in my Robinhood account that I used. Basically, I put it in for another video, and so it's just, yeah, it was just my play money that is now worth $40,000.
Well, that's the problem. Is it was my play little experiment.
But you did a lot more than me.
25,000 is worth 180, and like I have 180,000 of something called Doge in a Robinhood account. Like, I just feel like it's fiscally irresponsible for me if it hits the number it's in my head. And I normally don't, and I say hit the number, I really don't care what number it hits. Like, I feel like once we get peak Doge sentiment, right? Peak Doge sentiment and expansion, at that point, I got to take some off the table, like 30, 40, 50% at least. And if it goes Doge crazy at some point, I got to take a big chunk off. That's how I trade. It's like social arbing Doge, right? Like, it's expanding. The Doge story has gotten so big. At some point, you have to ask yourself, you know, how much bigger is this story going to get? Or are we reaching kind of Doge parity where the entire world is talking about it and it's on Saturday Night Live and it has its own skit, right? If that's not like a signal for me to say, hey, we've reached a point of parity with the market in terms of people understanding Doge, like, I don't know what is at that point. So I have to sell. I have to stick with my social arb methodology and sell a bunch at that point. And then who knows? Maybe there's new levels to Doge. It keeps going, and there's new levels of how massive the conversation gets, but I don't see it right now. So that's it. That's my Doge rant.
Perfect. I was just trying to find if either Colin Jost or Michael Che have made jokes about Doge. I couldn't find anything immediately on Google, but
nothing. Okay. By the way, I want to show you guys, we are working on an NFT project here at Dumb Money. I've kind of been spearheading it, and I'm going to show you guys when we get off the air. I got the first little bit of it today, so I want to get your opinion on it. I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty pumped. I think you guys will be too. That is coming to a NFT platform this summer. The Dumb Money
is it? It'll be ready?
Yes, the Dumb Money sponsored NFT project. Well, we're not going to come out with it unless we feel that it is meaningfully differentiated and fun and interesting and something that people are going to have a really good time with and really enjoy and appreciate. So yeah, honestly, like, I kind of feel like we're headed in that direction. I'm pretty excited about it. So I'll show you guys in a minute. But Dave, I know you got to pack. You got to get out of there, right? Where are you going, by the way?
We're just taking a van life road trip to East Texas, kind of near Tyler, I believe.
Okay.
For an equestrian event that Megan's horse is competing in. Megan's not. I think Megan might be doing one, but her trainer's doing the jumping portion. It's a new horse.
Are you sleeping in the van?
I think so. Although her uncle lives out there, and I think we're going to be on his property, so I think we're going to sleep in the van. I can handle the van for like 2 to 3 nights, and then I check into a hotel.
Yeah. What are you doing this weekend, Jordan? Anything?
It's Mother's Day. I see my mom.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we're celebrating. Abigail's birthday during Mother's Day with some family. So just family stuff.
That's cool. That's cool. That is
cool.
You? Yeah. Just Mother's Day activities here. I mean, nothing crazy.
Speaking of Doge, we got a new Doge.
Yes, Peaches the Doge.
Wait, is that a new dog that you got?
Yeah, we got Peaches.
You got a new dog?
We got Peaches the lab.
That's hilarious, because I actually saw that picture, and the first thing that popped in my head was, dude, Jordan's dog is looking good. Like I don't remember.
Yeah, no, Barkley
forgot
did
that
not
you
do
lost
well.
real dog.
Yeah, Barkley's no longer with us, but
I know. I forgot
Peaches,
about that though when I saw the pic. I was like,
Yeah.
my brain. I was so brain dead. I saw it like late last night. I was sifting through, and I was like, wow, Jordan's dog. Like I couldn't remember, but now I kind of remember the whole story. So you guys pumped?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Is he
we got
a
Peaches,
puppy?
We got her like 2 days ago. She's a rescue. She's like
is she a
under a
puppy?
year old. She's super cute. But yeah, and she's pretty chill too. So.
Dude, that's awesome that you went down the rescue road with that. The girls like her?
Oh yeah, yeah, they're going nuts.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's Peaches everything right now.
Peaches everything. So now you're in a house with 4 girls now.
I was trying to find a picture to share.
Don't forget
with
about the cat.
world.
So it's 5.
5. Nice, dude. Nice. All right, guys. So we'll be back on Tuesday.
Tuesday, and I think it's going to be a later in the day to evening premiere for this.
Oh, we're going
video
to
that we're
have.
going to do.
We're going to have the.
So we're going to do. Are we going to do a live show like at our normal time, and then a late night premiere?
It depends how good of a topic we can come up with between now and then. We can come up with something really good.
We could talk about my new time machine coin.
Are you actually doing that?
No, but I should.
Okay.
I really should.
I know. You really should. Well, by the time it's ready, this whole thing will be a bust, just like last time. When you start ramping up that project, is exactly when this whole thing.
I was ready for an ICO right as the whole market fell apart for ICOs.
Yeah. All right. So guys, congrats on everyone that was in the Hayward Pools trade. That was an amazing trade. I am out of it, or almost all out of it. I'm now kind of almost completely out of the pool trade. I'm focusing now on Funko, focusing on adding shares to Playa today. Tap. Look at Tap, guys. Molson Coors. Great work by the community in the beverage channel at dumbmoney.tv/Discord community. You guys are crushing it. I mean, we're doing channel checks every day. I'm so proud of the community and everyone that's killing it on Molson Coors. Let's hope that momentum continues. We're just in the middle of so many great trades. It's a great time. Peloton, like I said, I would have a hard time seeing a scenario where I didn't hold my shares tomorrow and add more while selling my puts. But we'll see. Anything's possible. I'll hang out on Discord and I'll tell you guys what I'm doing. Oh, that's awesome, Jordan. That's great.
Jordan, check out the screen.
So
all right. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. We are Dumb Money. We will see you right back here on Tuesday.